Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my Gallicinium LUFENIA run with Tifa, Aerith, and Tidus. And a Cloud of Darkness friend. Finally decided to bring on Cloud of Darkness friend. I kind of was on a Cloud of Darkness strike just because I didn't get her after spending so many resources. But this boss here, the way you handle the orb is just making sure that the boss is going to have more than four debuffs or more, and the orb count is going to go up by 2. So you can make the orb go up. Now the orb count is pretty tight at 8. Turn count also a little tight, but not too bad, which is 70, and HP damage requirements are 20,000. So HP damage requirements are not bad at all. I brought Aerith in here because you will need to heal. You're gonna notice that here, when you take a certain amount of actions, the boss is gonna go to the ground, and then when the boss goes to the ground, it's going to be weak versus magic, and it's going to summon these two small death machines. Now these death machines have an orb on them, and you cannot make the orb count go up, so you have to focus on defeating these guys as soon as possible. At 69, 49, and 29%, the boss is going to do something called emitting jamming signal, and any death machines will get turns delayed, I think by 3 turns. They're also going to gain massive brave, and then they're also gonna, I believe, dispel their debuffs and all of your party buffs with something called oil injection. And I think oil injection is actually only at 49% when it does oil injection. And what happens is, if there are 4 or more debuffs, it's going to cleanse those debuffs whenever the boss switches, I believe, from airborne to grounded, or every 8 turns the party takes. So you kind of try to have to just keep 4 debuffs, because again, if you have more than 4, it's going to dispel them. And then the debuffs that the boss is going to inflict on you, they're actually quite strong, and you got to make sure that you bring either some debuff cleansers, things like that, or a lot of healing, and making sure that you're delaying the boss a substantial amount. Boss is going to hit you with venom, oil poisoning, and HP damage, I believe, are taken up by like ×2. So venom is going to be brave poison, oil poisoning is going to be HP poison, and they're inflicted for 10 turns. Now, I thought that Aerith's LD was going to protect me from these debuffs, but she does not. And then here, where I made the mistake is, I kind of went into the stage, to be honest with you, not reading too much about the boss. I just thought, okay, 4 debuffs or more, okay, it is what it is. But I noticed that obviously here I messed up by putting up Sephiroth's debuff, because as you can see there, the enemy cleansed the buffs because it had more than 4. But it just won't cleanse, obviously, Sephiroth's, because it is, again, a gold, and bosses cannot cleanse gold debuffs. But here with the Metatilian inflicting 3 debuffs, then we're good to go. You're going to see that the orb count from here on out will actually start going up with the max of 8, because the enemy does have more than 4 debuffs. Now, aside from the debuffs that the enemy puts on you, the only time you have to worry about the enemy is right now when it's up in the air. I don't suggest you allowing the enemy to take any turns, like almost most LUFENIA fights, because it's going to start doing a lot of HP damage whenever he's up in the air. And all you have to remember is that after 8 turns, it's going to come down to the ground. When it comes down to the ground, it's going to summon the 2 death machines. And the death machines, you can see there, they only have 700,000 HP, so they're not too bad to handle. Here, I just want to make sure again that I'm just deleting turns. That's the reason I brought in Metatilian, just for that reason, and for his debuffs. And then again, the boss has 2 modes, which is the airborne and the grounded. And then when it's in the air, the boss is going to be immune to delay, I believe it is. and that's when it does most of its HP attacks. And when it's on the ground, then that's when you want to start focusing. If you brought any magic damage dealers, that's where you mostly want to be focusing on doing the damage. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Here it's just bursting him down. Again, super easy fight, nothing to it. I think if you let the boss take turns, that's just like any other LUFENIA, you're going to start having a bunch of problems. I mean, you'll see here that I do have Tidus and Tifa. They do have those debuffs on there, but although they do a significant amount of damage, like the HP poison, I mean, that's the reason I brought Aerith, just because she's gonna heal the party right back up. It's not really a big deal, and since Tifa and Tidus take so many turns, those are eventually just gonna fall off. And being that they're giving you 20,000 HP damage requirement, so again, you can't take more than 20,000 HP damage in order to, you know, complete I guess all the missions or all the requirements. It's 20,000, I think, was big leg room. They give you a lot of room there. I think it would have made the fight a little bit more interesting if they would have maybe brought that down a substantial amount. And here it's maximizing Cloud of Darkness. I think that his shot is considered obviously melee, which is why it's resistant. But again, I'm not too worried. I mean, the shot is not going to do a lot of damage. I mean, over time, obviously it can accumulate, but I'm more concerned on Jet Shot's ability to delay the target. Again, it's going to cleanse its debuffs, but I can always put them right back on. It's not a big deal. We're already halfway. Again, the orc count is 70. We already have them at 49%. You're going to see there, again, emitting jamming signal again. So at that point, it's you have all those debuffs on there. And I guess where the issue comes in is, actually, I'm not too sure about this, but if your friend unit takes damage, I think that counts towards that might count, I think, towards the HP damage taken. But even if it does, as you can see, Cloud of Darkness only has 15,000 HP. So even if the poisoning takes her down all the way to 1, I'm still under the 20,000, and Aerith is gonna heal up the rest of the party. So really not a big deal, not a hard fight. Could have brought Odin into this. Just went for it just to get damage, I guess, right off the bat, because I know it does take time to get that oil poisoning, stuff like that, on your characters. But it's very doable. I don't think that you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with any summon. Again, the boss is not hard at all. As far as other people or other units you could bring Sarah would be really good. You can bring Gabranth, Shantotto for, you know, that inflict 3 or more debuffs. In order to cleanse the debuffs, you could bring I think Theodore, Mog. Turn manipulation again. You can always do Terra. You can do Ultimisium. You can bring, just if you have or you pulled Cloud of Darkness. I mean, all these LUFENIA fights right after Cloud of Darkness came out, she's like ideal for all these. I think you're gonna find a lot of people using Cloud of Darkness and you know, in all these fights, because she's just so good in these fights. And then again, you could always bring Core. That's another unit. Porum, Queen. Core is going to deal so much damage. Porum and Queen are Aura bots. Same goes, like, for example, Paladin Cecil. Paladin Cecil. As long, like, if you bring Paladin Cecil, then you can almost bring anybody you want, because you are going to chant and imperil Holy, which now bypasses any range resistance that the enemy has. So technically here, I could have probably replaced Aerith with Paladin Cecil and got through it faster, because Paladin Cecil does have the heals, but Tidus would have been hitting, I think, for max damage even on his shot attack. Another one you could bring too would probably be lightning. Would be probably another good unit. And I think if you could also change the summon. Like I said, you can't go wrong with having any other summon. Here I have more than enough abilities with Tifa and stuff like that left. Again, it's a very simple fight. These two damage dealers are making, I think, fights like this super easy. So you'll see here again, I think it's after 8 turns or something like that, it's gonna emit the jamming signal, and my HP is gonna go down. But one healing wind from Aerith, and everybody's back up to 100. And the orb, again, 4 debuffs or more. As you can see, it's at 7. When I attack, it's gonna stay pretty much at 7. Now at this point here, it's going to, the orb is going to stay here until I believe you kill the boss. So you have to consistently find ways to be inflicting 3 debuffs or more. And I believe with Tidus, if I'm not mistaken, Tidus is able to inflict, I think, up to 3 debuffs. So with this, I think it says slice and dice, he's going to inflict 3 debuffs. Now I'm not sure why they cleansed there. I'm not sure if when he goes down he automatically cleanses. I'm assuming that's what it is, because I think he only had 4 debuffs at the time. But yeah, his slice and dice will inflict attack down, defense down, speed down, and then I still have Sephiroth's debuff on there as well. So I guess I'm not too worried about it cleansing the debuffs, because I can always put them right back on here. I think the biggest concern would be more on taking care of these 2 death machines that the boss summons. There's also I always forget his name, but he let's see, for cleansing you could also bring Balthier. I don't know, I don't think I mean maybe Yuffie might work on here, because you might be able to throw the debuffs back, but I believe that the boss is immune to oil poisoning, so I think you might be able to throw the other debuffs on him, like BRV poisoning, but you're not going to be able to do oil poisoning, because oil poisoning, what it's going to do is that it's going to reduce HP damage on who it's inflicted by, I think it's like, what is it, 10% or something like that? Yeah, 10%. So it would make the fight a little too easy if you could just throw back oil poisoning. I'm not sure if in JP they allow them to do that. I don't know. But that's the thing you will notice, is that the boss is only, I think, immune to oil poisoning. But Yuffie might work, taking off all of those debuffs and always inflicting the enemy with debuffs as well. She can help you with the orb. And you would probably still need a healer, because you're going to still take HP damage from every time that the boss inflicts oil poisoning, right? Then it's a character's turn, and then that character is going to take HP poison. When it's Yuffie's turn, then Yuffie, before doing the attack, you're obviously going to have, you know, HP poison. So you're going to still have to bring a healer regardless, and that's where I just felt like it's better to just let the debuffs do its thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know who you guys used. Again, super easy fight. Even without healing towards the end, still met the HP requirements. And good luck on the mission. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.